Hi. You may remember a while ago I was interested in alarms, like the kind that are connected up into the walls near the ceilings of your school buildings and work buildings, so that if there's an emergency, like a fire, then they're connected to the AC system, so that it's automatic and very loud, very piercing. This is called, what is this called? A vibraphone horn. I'll bring the camera closer. If you haven't seen my previous video, then I'll do a quick recap. But in the previous video, I found one, got it working, and what I wanted to do and couldn't figure out was how to connect it to my musical electrical system to make music with it. And I figured that out, so I wanted to share that with you just for a few minutes this afternoon. And first, I will show you what's inside of one of these vibraphone horns. I have a few now, and I'll let you hear what it sounds like when it's full blast. So first, I'll pull you down here. This is the same as this. It's just a different model. Let's go find out what this model is called. This model is called the Vibraphone Horn Model 350, and this is the 350. So they're just different colors, and they have different grill plates, as if that mattered. And this one I bought on eBay, and the previous owner decided they must be kindred souls to me, because they wanted to make noise by just flipping a switch, which is just what I wanted. But basically, what it is a vibrating plate connected to this little electromagnet, so that when you run an AC current through it, it alternates. An AC current is an alternate current, so it alternates up and down, and makes this vibrate so loud or so much that it makes a noise. That's the basic idea, and it projects it out like that. So I'm gonna turn this on. I have to put earplugs in my ears because it's very loud. There you go. That's for me. Okay, so that's just plugged right into the wall. So I've discovered that it doesn't actually make good sounds musically when it's full power from the wall. So I've connected one right into like this, into this variable AC power supply. So this shows a percentage of power from 0 all the way to 100. And I've discovered that about 35% is what sounds best. So give me a second and I'll get this set up. Okay, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit for the benefit of anybody who's not familiar with electronic music, and to explain how it is I plan to make that alarm do something else besides go. So this is what I'm using. It's a modular synthesizer. And basically, a modular synthesizer is each one of these little sections is a module that has a different function. But the basics of it is an oscillator module, which you send an electrical current through, and it reduces it down to a signal, which is a pitch. And it gets amplified, and it makes a sound like this. And I can change that. But rather than change it manually like I just did to make a melody, I use a sequencer, which sequences a different degrees of voltage to make either a low tone, which is low voltage, or a high tone, which is high voltage. And that is what this is. And as you can see, I have it running right now, but it's on a different channel. each one of these little lights is actually a little knob that I've adjusted different degrees. So each one of these is sending out a different degree of voltage to that oscillator. So I'll just plug it in. And listen. Okay, so you can create songs like that. I mean, this is the very basics of it, but that was a cute little tune, I thought. And I've added on to it to make it a little more interesting. Here, let me turn on my thing here. I'm going to record this because I think it's a nice little tune. I like that. So I tried to do that. I tried to just plug something like this into the alarm, and it didn't work because this uses a different kind of voltage. It uses DC, direct current voltage. And the alarm only responds to alternating current because it's basically just a vibrating plate that's connected directly into the wall. So what I learned was you can't just change the voltage going into this to make the pitch of that vibrating membrane go higher or lower. It doesn't work that way. I plugged this into my variable AC power supply, and I put it down to 0 and then slowly went up and up and up, 30, 40, 50. Nothing was happening until I got almost up to 100, and then went because it only responds to the frequency of that electromagnetic field that the AC current generates. And you may have heard of it, a 60 hertz magnetic field. That is what this vibrates at. This little thing vibrates at 60 hertz when you put 120 volts AC into it. So I thought I was stuck. But then I remembered that there's I used to work in irrigation, and there was a pump that we had to use to draw water out of a well, and you couldn't just turn on the pump all at once because the well water, it took a lot of energy. So you had to gently ramp it up using a variable frequency drive. That made me think, aha, I could use a variable frequency drive on this, because that's what I need to do. I just need to change the frequency of this vibrating membrane. 100%, 120 volts, different frequencies. So I here's the, I found several plans for them on the internet. This is just one of the plans. This is one of the simpler plans, and it looks a little dangerous to me, so I didn't do it. There were other ones that were a lot more complex, and they looked safer, but the people who were presenting them said, do not do this at home. They were just demonstrating how a variable frequency drive works. So I value my life and my health, so I decided I would just buy one. I bought this variable frequency drive, which is the cheapest one I could find. I think it was less than $20. I cannot remember. But I wanted the cheapest thing because most of these things are made for controlling complex machines like mills or pumps or whatever. And I figured I don't need all that special safety stuff. I just need something that will make my little thing make noise. So I bought the cheap one, and it came with this knob here. But I quickly cut the knob off because what I want to do is, instead of manually adjusting the frequency of the power coming through, I want to make my modular synthesizer adjust the frequency according to, the melody that I want to play. So that's the next step. And that was, there's plans for that on the internet too, but I thought, but I didn't have all the components. I did have one component. It's basically just an optocoupler. So there's an LED in here. Sorry. There's an LED on one side of this and a sensor on the other side. And you flash the LED, and the sensor receives the light. And I have made this myself. As you can see, it says PAB on there. Look, that's my initials. It's kind of cool. When the LED goes on, the initials light up. So this takes the signal, the frequency that you want, and converts it to a signal that that a modular synthesizer can read, and vice versa. That's the clue. But most of the schematic drawings that were on the internet required parts that I didn't have. So I thought either I buy all the parts or I just buy a DIY thing that does it. So that's what this is. This is a little, right here, that's the same thing. That's an optocoupler. And it's connected to this, what is this? What kind of thing is this? I think it's just an amplifier or something. Can't read it. And a couple of little adjuster pots to tune in this optocoupler so that you get the right frequency range. And this was, a PSA. I bought this from Synthrotech. So if you want to buy this from them, you may get good luck. In the past, I haven't had great luck, but that was like maybe 10 years ago and I stopped buying from them. But this worked fine. I did have to change a couple of the parts because they weren't exactly the quantities that I needed. But other than that, it was just fine. So you take this, you plug your sequencer into there, like these, and you need a little bit of power, so you take one of these, and you're basically all set up. Let's see, back. The only thing you need now is a sequencer, and most of the stuff you saw back there just a few seconds ago were bought from companies, but I did make my own sequencer. It's the same idea as the other one that you saw, though. It's just a row of knobs and little LEDs indicate which one is in sequence, and a power button and a little patch cord that leads out to the thing you're trying to create sound with. So all I do is, think first. Right, so now it's all set up. I got my sequencer right here. I got the alarm right here. I got the converter, the CV converter, control voltage converter. It converts this voltage into AC voltage that's coming from this variac. We call it a variac. It's a variable AC controller. So, is that plugged in? Yes, it is. And I have this twisted to the amount that I showed you earlier. You can hear it buzzing right now because it's getting some voltage. Now I'm going to turn on the there. Now I'm going to put a microphone up to that so you can hear more details. But that is the rudiments of the sound. So I'm going to adjust this little trimmer pot to get the right amount. So over here, you can see I have the speed going pretty quick, and it's going through these different voltages. I can adjust it, and you can hear it a little bit. Alright, now obviously I need to adjust those little trimmer pots a little bit and make the voltage just right so that it responds, so that the alarm responds to the sequencer through the CV converter and the VFD. But it's been a long time. I've been thinking about this, and I'm pleased to present the alarm sequencer to you, and I'm gonna tweak it a little bit and play a little more music for you for the last few minutes of this video. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it.